Libbity bibbity.
Libbity bibbity.
Libbity bibbity.
Take a fantasy, it's what we're doing. Come and check it out, it's what we're all about. 561 Music!
561 Music Festival
Brought to you by Steinger Green and Finer.
at the Meyer Amphitheater.
May 3rd.
It's a free show.
20 bands,
2 stages,
art vendors,
food vendors.
drinks vendors.
There you go. Go to 561musicfestival.com for details.
20 bands will play West Palm Beach all day. Support your music scene. May the 3rd is free. 561 Music Festival.
Supported by Steinger Green and Finer. Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
And we've been having a fun time here, haven't we, Hector?
That's been terrible. I want to go home.
Oh, wow. I could have expected you to say that.
I mean, come on, man. You have to know I'm going to say that.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon the people who are watching now know you're going to say that as well.
Well, then I'll have to change it up and act like I'm actually having fun.
You know something which I listen to a lot of podcasts, and you really start to feel like you know the people who are talking, you know? It's a funny relationship listening to someone's podcast for years and years.
So should I not be doing this because I'm a witness relocation or something?
Yeah,
like
you
witness protection?
definitely shouldn't do it in that case.
That's bad. I should have thought about that 4 years ago. Huh?
So is there anything we need to talk about at the beginning?
Nothing at all. There's nothing going on. There's absolutely nothing happening. We haven't done anything. We haven't planned anything. There's no festivals planned. There's no 20 bands at 2 stages. There's nothing that we need to speak about.
I feel like you should tell them about the festival because I did
What do
last week.
you want to know? This is the 561 Music Festival brought to you by Steinger Green and Finer. Beautiful, beautiful festival that it is. 20 bands, 2 stages, food trucks, drinks, booze, all sorts of stuff. And we're gonna have art vendors, 20 art vendors. The sponsors are gonna have tents and things, and booths. We have all sorts of different sponsors and things now, and we now have a VIP area that we're setting up. So we're going to get into the details of that this week, figure all that out, and then after next week, we're going to announce how you can get tickets for the VIP area. We may even give some away.
The question you have to ask yourselves is, are you a very important person? And if so, then we have the tent for you. Let me read the bands out. So we have Mason Pace, Tiger Sunset, Closer to the Ocean, Ras, Jut Huffman, Whakatar, Medicine Room, Jacob Tacos and the Connection, Beeline, Reverse Oreo, Modern Odyssey, Stony Fools, Strider, Shakers, Brian Hopkins, Slow Funk Pump, Off Orbit, Billy Doom is Dead, Little Things, and Blabscam.
Yeah, that is a solid lineup. And for those of you that live under a rock or not on planet Earth, as we'll get into a little bit later, if you don't know, this festival is 100% free. There is unless you go into the VIP area, there will be no cost to go to the festival. Obviously, there'll be merch available for purchase. There'll be food and drink available for purchase. But actually enjoying the music of the 20 bands is 100% free. And that is because of the law offices of Steinger Green and Finer, as well as Cultural Council of Palm Beach County, Backsavers, Harmony Management, Galliano Family Salon, High Tide Realty, the Shirt Series, which is the official sponsor of the merchandise, our official merchandise partner. Yeah. And so this is going to be at the Meyer
Oasis Route as well.
Yeah, Oasis Route, correct. And so this is going to be at the Meyer Amphitheater on May 3rd, 20 bands, 2 stages, food and drink vendors, art vendors, and it is a free show. If you want any more information from it, 561 Music Festival or 561musicfest.com. Either one of them will get you to the information. There's vendor applications there. There's sponsor applications if you'd like to join the fine list of sponsors. And there's bios and things on all the bands. And soon, probably in the next week, we will announce. We've already announced the lineup, so you'll know what bands are there. Probably in the next week or so, we will announce the order of the bands and which one of the 2 stages they're on, what times and stuff, so you can kind of plan your day.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be all sorts of interesting stuff.
Yeah, there'll be, I guess we can say it now. There's going to be a guitar giveaway. So pretty soon on the website, there'll be a spot where you can sign in and give us your email address and get in for a chance of winning a guitar. And the guitar is going to be something that we're going to bring to the festival. We're going to have all the bands sign it and throw a sticker on it or something like that. And so it'll be pretty unique, and it'll be basically one for this festial. You know?
Yeah,
we did
exactly.
that last year, and I think it was well. It went,
Yeah, I think
over well.
it was great. It's a lovely idea. So we have Andrew and Johan from Modern Odyssey. How's it going, guys?
Great. Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
I noticed, Johan, that you're not from round these parts.
I'm not either. I just blend in better.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Is it a learned thing, or did you have to go through reconstructive surgery?
It's a shapeshifter, man. Come on, you know these things.
Yeah, fair
He
enough.
doesn't like to talk about his past. Very dramatic.
Fair.
No, fair enough. All right, so I'll stop making you feel self-conscious. Let's just get into the band stuff. So, Modern Odyssey. First things first. How did you come upon a name like Modern Odyssey? Is it? I love the name. It's a very expansive name.
Yeah. Honestly, I've had a little note on my phone for a few years at this point that's band or song names.
Yeah.
And I just kept adding stuff to it,
I have one of
to
those.
it.
Yeah.
And then, do you even remember how we came up with the name in the first place?
Yeah, you said it, and I didn't hate it enough to argue.
There you go.
So
That's
here
how
we
it
go.
goes a lot of the time.
That's canon.
Yeah.
It rolled off the tongue like cellar door. It sounds like Modern Odyssey. It's not
I like
abrasive.
Celador.
Yeah, and I guess
like
in
it.
terms of the meaning, like, we want our music to take people on a journey,
Yeah.
like the Odyssey, and then we also want it to be new and interesting and something people haven't entirely seen before. So the
that's-
modern.
And more people know about the Odyssey than the Iliad. So modern Iliad, it just wouldn't have been quite as...
Yeah, exactly.
So, Wicked, how long have you been together?
About a year.
Yeah, a little more than a year.
We've been playing together for a year and a half, but the first official band show was like 6 months ago.
Okay, cool. And how's it been? Like, how the reception's been?
When people see us, they like it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for a whole bunch of people to watch you at the festival.
Yeah, we're stoked.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun seeing you up there. So, how would you describe your music to the layman?
We use the words interstellar rock,
Okay.
and that's because the core of it is rock, I'd say. We both have a nice rock background.
Yeah.
That's our preferred genre. And the interstellar, we're from space, obviously, but also it gives us license to do whatever we want.
Yeah,
Because
right.
we throw some funk in there, we throw some pop in there, we throw some jamming and psychedelic in there.
Try to make them like ride and taste the whole rainbow, up, down, slow, all the different. So it gets really heavy, it gets really psychedelic. We jam out. We've got slower pop songs. We've got folk songs. We've got, just a little bit of everything.
I like
Yeah.
it.
And then
I like
the goal is to bring a bunch of those boom boom plastic thunder sticks and hand them out and hopefully get everyone to join us in a big drum circle and do something cool at the festival.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I find it very fun, exciting music, and I've enjoyed checking it out. So when it comes to sort of the instrumentation, how did that evolve? How did you decide to do it like that?
Well, I play guitar and sing, and he plays drums, and
Yeah.
we've both been doing those things for many years.
When
It's
we
like
started
White Stripes
jamming,
kind of thing.
he had a lot of songs written. So we first started just kind of putting drums to some songs, and then it kind of evolved and got a little bit trippier, a little bit crazier,
Yeah.
a little bit proggier, a little heavier, and then all the way back and forth. So we like going all over the place.
The reason I ask is because in Killbillies, I played feet drums. Me and James play the feet drums. And it's one of those things where it wasn't just because, like, we initially started doing it because there's a guy, Ben Prestige, I don't know if you've heard of him, who lives further north, who does feet drums. And, a lot of people sort of think, oh, is it because you just don't want to pay a drummer or something like that? But it's not, it was a conscious choice and artistic choice. I like the way it sounds. I think it's interesting and it also kind of brings the band together in this interesting way because, like, someone who's playing one of the other instruments is also controlling the beat, so it just kind of makes the groove happen in a different way.
Yeah.
And I wondered, when it comes to kind of going at it as a duo like that, is it like an artistic choice?
Yes and no. We are actively looking for a bass player.
Right.
Like, we'd love to get some low end in there.
Yeah.
But we've also, from playing with a couple previous people and
Yeah.
doing our own thing, just realized to date we've been able to move faster
Yeah.
and more effectively than with a third person.
I
Like,
know
we didn't
what you
want to
mean.
slow ourselves down
Yeah.
unless it's for like the right fit.
Yeah, even for us, we have, with Killbillies, we were a 3-piece, and it seems like we get more done as a 3-piece than I've ever gotten done in, any 5 or 6-piece bands I've been in. It's
Yeah.
it's just easier, less moving parts.
It's really hard to coordinate with musicians, period. So,
Well, everybody's
you know.
got day jobs and stuff like that, so it
Right.
just gets hard.
Yeah,
Schedules
yeah,
get
for
hard.
sure.
Even with the
So-
3-piece, it's hard. I mean, we're trying to find time to practice right now.
We lucked
can't
out
see-
that we're on a very similar kind of schedule, similar wavelength, and then just from the beginning, like our rhythms really kind of locked. So it was really easy to build music together because we both kind of had a very similar groove that just kind of worked.
Yeah.
And so now we just fill it in as much as we need to for the 2-piece, and it works.
Yeah, that's wicked. Me and Justin, who's the engineer right now, and also owns and runs where we're sitting right now, live music community. We tried to start a drums and guitar band for 2 seconds, but then it didn't happen. I can't remember why, but I'm still up for doing it. And I think the way we were going to do it is I was playing the bass 6, which is like a bass, but it's like 6 strings, but a bass.
Okay.
And it's just like a guitar an octave down, basically. And I really enjoy that format because you're right. It's creative. You can move quickly, and it's just fun. Do you, when it comes to like the low end in general, do you even kind of experiment with that, or like do you ever use like octave pedals or anything like that?
Not too much. The closest we've come is I've done looping.
Yeah, okay.
And I do have an octave pedal that I love. And
Yeah.
I've done loops with like a bassier sound in there.
Yeah.
But after trying it a few times, we realized it's easier and cleaner if we just play without me trying to loop something and then
Yeah.
him as the drummer having to try and follow the loop.
Right.
That's pretty challenging to do live.
Yeah, it is surprisingly so. It's
It's
more
the
challenging than you
acoustics
think it
that
would
kind
be.
of bounces all around
Yeah.
is really the problem. And so if I hear him playing something clean and simple, that's great to lock into. But once he starts putting guitar effects and things, it starts reverbing and goes
Yeah.
everywhere, and the mess doesn't help anything either. And so it gets kind of chaotic.
I found it a lot more. It's funny because I do a looper thing with my solo set. I don't have any problems building that up on my own. But when I'm playing with other people and lay down a loop, it can very often get really out of hand.
Yeah.
It's weird how that is. I don't really understand why, but it's just harder to lock in with it than you would think. I mean, if you did to a click, I guess that's a whole different thing. But and I think with your kind of thing, the playing to a click would really impede the kind of freedoms to go off in the different directions you go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never done it. Have you?
Only in the studio.
Right.
But I've played the loop tracks before, so like it's the same thing. You got to dance with it. You can't be rigid. You kind of just gotta groove with it.
Yeah.
And dance around it. But it's not as fun as just going, just go wherever. Just let it breathe.
absolutely.
You gotta let it breathe.
Yeah, the song may not be the same tempo all the way through.
Yeah.
But it'll feel good and it'll
No, exactly.
sound good.
And I know that like what you mean by cleaner as well, because something that sometimes I used to do with James is and we still do sometimes, is the Killbillies duo, because certain places only want 2 people. Done it with Hector too. But at one point I was trying to use an octave pedal to provide the bass, and then we realized after ages of doing that, it just sounds better without it. It just sounds better just playing the guitar, turning the bass up on the guitar, and just doing that.
Yeah.
Because you're right, cleaner. It's like the tone is. Because no matter how good your octave pedal is, it's going to sound digitally, and it's not always going to hit the right exact note.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. What's your musical background? Like, how did you find yourself playing music?
You want to start?
Hey, you want to start? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I had a drum teacher when I started, and I mean, he didn't play drums. He smashed thunder. I mean, in the
which
most
planet was
80s
that
metal
on?
way possible. So that's where I started playing drums.
Right.
My friends, everyone was into punk rock, so that was like my early. So it was hard rock, punk, aggressive music,
cool.
and then it just progressed from there. Solo projects. I got to tour for a couple years.
Nice.
A little while back, did the whole Purple Mohawk, lived in a bus, the whole starving artist thing. It was great. And then I plugged back into the Matrix down here, was working on a solo project, and then stumbled upon Andrew. So
Cool. You look very familiar. I wonder if our paths have ever crossed.
I've definitely partied with y'all at some of the St. Patty's Day parties.
Gotcha. Okay. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, that's cool. You know, but I've been doing punk bands and stuff all my whole life, and I love all that. You know, it's good times.
Yeah, it's the raw energy more than the the on point.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been a little bit more John Bonham than Neil Peart. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. And you know, even if it is kind of, even if the music it is complicated and important, it's just the attitude of like punk shows, just getting that vibe across.
Yeah, because when you're up there and just like and the crowd's like and you're like you know what I mean? Like it's that thing that's just like the greatest thing in the world.
To me, that is live performance. That feeling, you know, like I don't know, it's. We sometimes Killbillies will play gigs when people aren't really paying too much attention and there's the TV on in the background, and that is such a different world from even a punk gig with like 5 people at it. You know, even that is better. You know, because at least they're paying attention. You know.
Yeah, there's more energy there, like more connection.
Totally. And what about yourself, Andrew? How do you do?
Yeah, so I started playing violin in elementary school. My mom was a musician, is a musician. She played guitar, she sang, she would sing lullabies to us and sing songs to my siblings and I.
Nice.
So I got into violin up until I found guitar in high school. And then I dropped the violin, started playing guitar. And
can you still play the violin?
Yes. I don't do it often, but I actually recently brought it back for one of our songs that we're doing live. So I'm dabbling in it more.
Yeah,
Nice.
wicked.
Yeah.
I have a violin. I'm never deemed to say that I play it, but I can scratch out like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in it, you know.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to move my fingers like up the neck.
Yeah.
Like, first position, I'm golden.
That's awesome.
But yeah, past that, it gets tricky.
It's one of those instruments, isn't it, where it can sound really bad.
Yes.
You know? It's like the clarinet. That you can really, really sound bad on a violin.
Well, it's it's fretless, man. It's like it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And it's
hard.
squeaky. It's got those real high frequencies. That just
There's a few instruments like that. You know, obviously the furthest end is bagpipes. But,
I just picked up the saxophone again after years of not playing. So I feel you when you're going back to something you haven't done in a long time. Man.
Yeah. Hector's playing baritone sax in our punk band, Bomb the Algorithm, ska punk band, and it's just so much fun.
I haven't played saxophone and probably longer than you've been alive. But
I love saxophone. Ideally, someday in this band, we'll have a saxophone player.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well, I feel like I'm not in enough bands, so anytime
right.
me and Hector can come play sax in your band. That's not true. I'm in too many bands.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you are.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's true. I think, okay, so violin, and then you found guitar in high school, and who were some of the early people that you were really sort of into when you were growing up? What was your musical path kind of going through that?
Yeah, so grew up on classical music and
Me too, kind of, yeah.
classic rock.
Yeah.
That's my parents were big into both of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then eventually, like high school-ish, got into grunge, got into metal, like Metallica was my favorite band for a while.
Yeah.
How old are you?
A gentleman never tells.
That's fair. That's a good answer.
No, I'm 35. I don't mind
Okay,
saying.
gotcha. But no, the only reason I ask is because I wondered how far away we are. I'm about 10 years older than you, but you've had a very, very similar past to me. And so I was wondering if we were the same age. But we're a little bit apart. Yeah, because, that was... everything you just said was just what I did as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's more. There are more twists and turns.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yes, then I got into like prog rock, prog metal, like Porcupine Tree, Opeth, bands like that. And then I got into jam bands. So Grateful Dead, Fish, Disco Biscuits, bands like that.
I never did that step. In fact, I'm probably more into jam bands now than I ever have been. Not that I'm super into them, but I've stopped hating them.
Yeah, they're pretty divisive like that. I get it.
Yeah.
Then I went through a jazz phase, and then I went through like a pop phase.
Nice.
All over,
and then
huh?
a funk phase.
Yeah,
I think
I did a funk phase.
Yeah, I think the rock, the funk, and the pop has like stuck the most. And like
Nice.
the metal as well.
Well, it comes through in your music, absolutely. So I love the funky stuff that you guys do. It's awesome. Did you have guitar lessons?
No, I took a class in high school
Yeah.
with this great teacher. He let us each submit 1 or 2 songs we wanted to learn, and then we learned them throughout the semester. And so I learned all the basic chords and some basic like picking patterns and things
Sure.
like that. And then after that, I pretty much ran with it.
Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, I did have a few lessons at certain points. Like I had a guitar teacher who was my, it was my best mate's dad, but it was at the school. He was a real teacher and everything. But
This is Bob.
But yeah, Bob. Yeah,
Bob,
you
yeah.
met him,
I
Bob
met Bob.
Shern.
Yeah, I met Bob.
Big up, Bob Shern. I'll let you. I'll hit up Bob and tell him we talked about him on this. Hi, Bob. But then I did a lot of the learning on my own too, because it's just one of those things. I was the douche around the campfire with a guitar. I just go everywhere with the thing.
Oh, that was
man.
you.
Yeah, I wish I had that kind of confidence with it when I was younger.
I had quite a lot of confidence like that, but it was misplaced confidence.
It's
Still,
funny.
that can get you
Yeah.
to a good place.
I had confidence like
eventually.
that. Like when I started playing guitar, I started playing like just chords and whatever. And I had that confidence. I was the guy that sat around and was like, with 4 chords would play songs or whatever. And the odd thing is that it's just the opposite now. Now I want nothing to do with playing a guitar in front of people. Like it freaks me out now.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because you're so good at other instruments that you just.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm going with that.
Sure.
Do you think you lost your bottle at some point?
I don't know. But that goes back to the whole solo thing. We keep talking about me doing some solo stuff, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Must have been the de-pantsing that happened.
That's probably what it was.
22.
That's probably what it was.
The de-pantsing of Hector.
The de-pantsing of 89.
So, when it comes to the band, do you guys have any sort of what's the plan?
We had a vision, we shared kind of vision board type thing, and
nice.
So when we got together, we figured out this is cool. Like there was a goal, and the goal was to play a local festival. So we've actually been working up towards this, and this will be our first one. So this was
break
step
up
one.
after the.
One and done.
I got some bad news. The festival's been canceled. No, I'm kidding.
That happened to me in the past. We drove across the country like 14 hours through the night, and we showed up, and the whole place was rained out. And 5 out of the 30 bands got to play in some little hangar in the middle of South Dakota.
Oh,
and we just
man.
sat there eating stale garlic bread, just watching. Filter was cool, but still, it was So
Yeah,
this
that
is
sucks.
the ever elusive festival.
For an
We're super
alien, you have a
stoked.
very human-like nose, and it's off-putting. I hate to just throw that out there.
My human nose is very
off-putting.
off-putting too, so it just never worked for me.
It's confusing me. I can't stop looking at it.
That's so random.
I mean, we are in South Florida. Like, throw a rock and you hit a plastic surgeon. So
I didn't know what
take
you
care of
mean,
that.
but now that you've pointed it out, I can't stop staring.
So it's fine.
Well, yeah. You're the first real-life alien I've ever met, and so thank you so much for coming on the
Wow,
show.
thanks for having me. This is great. But this happened. We were doing a show. It was his birthday, and then he was like, "Hey, let's do an outer space theme for it." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Cool. Thanks for the 20 hours notice. We're tomorrow." And then I ran out, and this happened. And then
cool.
it just seemed that this is way more interesting than anything I was doing as a human. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Totally.
I'm now I hardly remember a life without the mask.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's pretty funny.
I want to get an alien mask now.
Of course you do.
Yeah. I just want what other people have.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised you haven't bought one yet.
Hot tip, though, it
Talking
makes
to
it
him.
really hard to sing. Because I was in a band before this when I lived out in Santa Cruz in California.
And you wore an alien mask?
Well, everyone else in the band wore masks except
okay.
me. And it was always really hard to hear them when we had 2 other singers.
Yeah.
It was really hard to hear them, because they're singing
I
through it. And you
see,
can only
yeah.
get so close to the mic.
I was in a ska punk band called No Name Ska Band, and for about half of our existence, the first half, we wore ski masks.
Ski masks.
And they were very hot. It was just, I eventually found
yeah.
a really thin one.
Yeah, no,
He,
it gets pretty hot, but.
Yeah.
And he'll full on put an ice pack inside
believe
Well,
the
I asked
alien mask.
ChatGPT. I was like, "How does Slipknot do it?"
Yeah.
And then they said, well, we have ice packs on our head, you idiot, was like the response. And then the microphones, they put them on the inside of the mask too. So it's all kind of set up and it's really... So okay,
Yeah,
but the
I
ice
tried
packs
to do
last
that.
like 20 minutes, and we played 2-hour sets sometimes. So it's
I believe that they have a bigger budget than you guys do, though. So better masks with better microphones.
Hey, you don't know.
front.
You don't know. They might be sitting on. You know.
Yeah, I'm in another band with Justin, and it's in Euphoria, and we were trying to early on. We were kind of trying to find our look.
Yeah.
And we had this whole like carnival theme type thing. I was like James was the carnival barker. I was like the creepy ride guy or whatever. And Justin showed up in kind of like a clown thing, but it was like this stocking clown face thing. Like it was almost like a sack over his head that had like the clown stuff on it, and he was dying. He was like, you could see the sweat coming through in him.
Well, he gets warm,
when he was done, he took it off. He's like, I thought I was gonna have a stroke.
Oh my god! And I only realised right now that carnival barker is a real word. It's just not a weird name that the guy in the band.
No, it's an actual thing.
I didn't know that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny that you didn't know that.
Yeah, I just thought it was called Carnival Barker, like maybe Barker was a name.
But it has vowels in it.
Yeah,
It's not Carnival Burger.
Carnival Barker.
Travis Barker's clown brother.
Okay, Carnival and Travis Barker. Got it.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
So, when you guys are writing, is there a process there?
Yeah. Well, so far. So usually, to date, I'll like have a song idea and like work it up to a certain point, and then bring it to Johan. And he's like, "All right, well, this works. That doesn't work. Like, what if we did this instead?" And then there's a couple songs that you've brought in as well. Not as many, but.
the rest too were spontaneous jams that he records every single rehearsal religiously.
It's a great idea.
Everything.
I record quite a lot of rehearsals, but I would be lying if I said I listened to them all.
He's good about it and keeps the ideas, and it actually keeps this thing moving. So
that's
in a
great.
short period of time, we've got 20 plus songs. Pretty all right.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
And you know what that is? It is a good idea, and I need to be reminded of that. It's just to do it, get it done. Because there's always stuff you play in there that, you forget like immediately. And it's amazing sometimes.
The other thing we're good about too is like we go home and like, do our homework. Like we work on it and in between. So we come there like ready to go and like with new ideas. So
that is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
You two guys should never break up because no one does that.
Right.
So you're in a great position.
And by no one, he means me. He's just not looking this way.
That's why I keep sabotaging the bass players.
That's right.
No, but that's wonderful. That's rare and wonderful. Yeah. I'm very happy for you guys because, that it does make all the difference. You're just showing up and because that's how you progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Showing up prepared. What a concept.
Yeah. I know, right? So,
it's the band my mother wanted me to be in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
It's just cool.
That's fantastic.
Your mother envisioned you wearing a alien mask. That was a weird vision.
Your mother didn't love drugs. Sorry. Yeah, mother.
Sorry, Mom.
I'm sure you didn't. I apologize. So I think on that absolute bombshell, we should listen to you guys play a couple of songs. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Excellent.
Trees are speaking, dry bones creaking. Hundreds of days without rain. Ski lift towers praying for showers. May never come again. on the devil's backbone. Nowhere to run, no place to hide. Dust eroding every milestone. Weary legs want to expire. I may never find my way home. Each step is pain, each breath is fire. Climbing ever closer to the sun. Trail was smooth and flat below, but the glory was on top. Always pushing myself harder, but would I know when to stop? Crawling to the summit once again. One wrong move, you won't see me again. Standing on the devil's backbone. Death a foot away on either side. Stranded on the devil's back home. Nowhere to run, no place to hide. Heal your spirit in the mountains. Find your bliss and peace of mind. Just remember there's a gap between what's real and on the map. Don't let your attention slip away. If you wanna make it home today. Standing on the devil's backbone. Death a foot away on either side. Stranded on the devil's backbone. Nowhere to run, no place to hide. Standing on the devil's backbone. Death a foot away on either side. Stranded on the devil's backbone. Nowhere to run, no need to hide. All right. Yes, sir. through the late night blues when everyone is better than you. The sound is here to help us move, you and I, to the other side. Living is hard to dance to the rhythm. I don't care if you're all alone. Living is hard to dance to the rhythm. Time to climb back on your throne. Don't resist the rhythm, resist the hate. Once you set that shit aside, you'll celebrate. Don't resist the freak, yeah, resist the plan. Spread some color, make your life a wonderland. Easier than trying to change. So tell me when you're sick of this rising tide and sinking ships, and what you're gonna do about it. It's hard to dance to the rhythm. Everybody fucks up, it's true. Living is hard to dance to the rhythm. Time to get back on your groove. Resist the rhythm, resist the hate. Once you set that shit aside, you'll celebrate. Don't resist the freak, yeah, resist the plan. Spread some color, make your life a wonderland.
Oasis route Kava bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd, and it is a Kava bar. If you don't know anything about Kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water, and it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, that brings people together. You all take a shell of kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like black light and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. Yeah, Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Route. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue. We can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. Outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there.
Okay, so we just listened to an ad for Live Music Community, which is where we're sitting right now, and it's where I work, and I'm very fond of the place. And one of the things that we do is teach people. So my question to you is, do you have any advice for upcoming or aspiring musicians?
I would say do something that excites you. Play something that excites you. Because if you're feeling like it's a slog, maybe that instrument's not for you. And it doesn't matter how much your parents or your teacher want you to play it. If you're not enjoying it, music's supposed to be fun. So what's the point?
And we find sometimes that Justin's actually told me to do this sometimes with students, is we'll see if they want to play something else. And sometimes you put a different instrument into their hands and they just change completely. You love it, So yeah, I agree with that 100%. And Johan, what about you, man?
I think he makes a really good point. Keep it fun. And if you change instruments, go down that rabbit hole. Go down every single one of them, because sometimes, if you're playing, 15, 20 plus shows a month, it can get really redundant. And you just feel like this dancing monkey over and over again. It becomes really on autopilot. So keep it fun. And because if you're not enjoying it up there, they're not enjoying it out there, and then you're not raising the collective vibration.
100%. For a period of time, I was in a band where everyone was kind of at each other's throats, and that was brutal. And everyone could tell, we weren't having fun. It's just people's faces like death up there, and it's that's not. People don't want to have to go and see that.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. I was notorious when I first joined Killbillies. I was notorious for. First, I was nervous. I'd never played an upright bass before, but then equally, it was it was partly nerves and partly I was just just a grumpy old bastard. So, but he told me one day, he's like, no matter what frustrates you up here, he's like, just smile. And now I do. And it's crazy how many people come up to us after the show and they're like, you look like you're having so much fun. And it could have been the worst day of my life. They're like, you look like you're having so much fun. And it makes a difference because when you're having fun, they're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And quite often, if you put a smile on your face, you end up cheering up. It's like it releases chemicals in your brain or something. It's like, if you force yourself to be happy, sometimes it works,
Yeah, physiology affects your psychology.
Keep trying to tell my wife that. She's not going for it, though.
Do you do your own social media? And if so, how important has that been to the growth of the band?
I hate social media. I mean, you got to do it. But
do they have social media where you're from?
No. We banned it eons ago for obvious reasons.
Yes.
But you'll get there. But you have to do it. I mean, that's how people find you and see you, and so you have to. But it's like it's just so bogged down with just redundant.
Oh, tell me.
Like
it's such
it's so poisonous these days.
Yeah. And it's just like he's coming up like, "Hi, I'm Alex from the band. Like, drop us a like. It's great." And you're like, no, just it's so.
I understand that.
Processed.
It is difficult.
Yeah, so not my thing, but Andrew does the good stuff for us.
It took me years to get to the point where I am now, where I feel like I have a good relationship with social media.
Yeah.
And basically, I will post and advertise things and promote things. I will not scroll. If I open the app, I'll look at the first post, maybe. And if we have messages, I'll check the messages. Or comments, because I want to make sure I'm replying to people.
Yeah.
But I close out right after that.
You know what? But over the past 5 years, my relationship with it has changed a lot. I want to say up to about a year ago, I was just on it all the time. I went from not really using it very much to using it a ton. And thinking it was really important to have a gazillion followers and check every single thing. And lately, I've got a much healthier thing with it. I just use it for the things I have to use. I do that, But that's just because I'm sick of it, I think, honestly. I just kind of done.
I'm on it all the time, but I'm not necessarily scrolling and stuff. I'm on it all the time, but I have access to the Killbillies account. I have the 561 Music account that I'm access to. I have my personal account, and this is both Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
I have my photography account. I have my art account. I have 5 accounts on each one, 6 accounts on each one, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly opening it and just checking notifications and stuff because I have to get back to people or I have to answer people. That's what I'm doing. But because of that, I feel like I'm on it all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not necessarily looking at what people posted.
Totally. That's where I'm at too, is I'm just trying to keep up with all the things,
it's crazy.
It's the best way to run a business today, this kind of business. I mean,
that's the thing.
You definitely need it. So it's
a necessary evil.
There's no better way.
Yeah.
It's a necessary evil. Yeah. And they make it so, especially Facebook, they make it so if you want to, for example, for the festival, for the festival, we created the event page. We created it on the 561 Music Festival, Facebook page. We as a page cannot invite people to it unless us as the administrators are actual Facebook friends with the people that we're inviting. So I could have 20,000 people on my 561 Music page, and I can't invite those 20,000 people. If I have 500 friends on Facebook, those are the only people I can invite personally. I can't. I as a page cannot interact and invite people. It's the dumbest way.
I didn't know that.
It's set up in such a weird way.
Is that new?
But, no, it's always been like that. But that's why, for example, I probably know personally 10 people in my entire life. Probably 5 that I interact with, on a more regular basis or whatever. But I have 4,000 Facebook friends.
Right.
I don't have 4,000 friends. I have 4,000 people on my Facebook. But because of it, I'll go places and people are like, "Oh, hey Hector, nice to meet you. We've been Facebook friends. We've been Facebook friends for 5 years. Nice to meet you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great. Who are you?"
Dude, that happens to me all the time.
It's
and
crazy.
It's so embarrassing because I'm like, "Oh, hi." Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. I do that all the time. Somebody will talk to me in the grocery store, and then I act like, "Oh yeah, good to see you, man. Everything's great." And then they walk away, and I turn to my wife and like, "Who is that?"
Yeah. The thing that is difficult too is there's certain people who I sort of see commenting on things all the time, and I'll comment back and have this kind of online relationship with them, but I don't know who they are. I've
Right.
never, and then they'll show up to something like that, and I'll be like, okay, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, and when they follow you, they see you every day. They feel like they know you. You know, that's that's the point.
And then all the ladies talking to me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing for us with using it is really trying to get videos of us out there.
Content.
Because
Content.
I think you guys have seen it, but for anyone who hasn't, we have a very different and hopefully eye-catching stage setup when we perform.
Yeah.
Like the one we did here tonight is definitely like the stripped down version.
This
I'd
is a good
say.
time to tell us about how you set up tonight, what you used and stuff. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure, let's do it.
Sure. So
Yeah, he had the
yeah,
interesting stuff.
I brought
I'd
some
say.
buckets,
Yeah, nice.
and that's the end of that.
The alien buckets.
Well, yeah, because we, like we talked about earlier, trying to get shows around here and get exposure and things like that. We were brainstorming, how do we do that? How do we get in front of more people? And we thought busking. We got to go out and busk, and people will see us and hopefully like us. And,
Sure.
And so his idea was to take these Home Depot buckets, paint them in these crazy psychedelic colors, and use that to drum when we're out and about.
Great.
And it works really well, and also like
They're
very
more
few
dynamic
people
than
do
you'd
that.
think. You can get 4 or 5 different tones out of there pretty easily.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
When we were recording it in there, I'm going to have fun mixing it, man. I'm going to get them booming. I'm going to go like sample replacement and have them like timpani, bang, bang, bang. But no, I'm not.
So for people that don't know you and that are watching the podcast right now and saying, like all they've seen of you is the performance you did here. That is, like explain a little bit more to them. Like that was definitely more of a strip down for you guys. Like what is your normal setup on a regular stage and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so Johan is very big and like has been a major driving force in the band for having our visually cool setup.
Nice.
So he designed this light pyramid, we can call it.
Yeah, cool.
With these super long LED lights that you can control to thousands, millions of settings.
Wicked.
And they're sound responsive, so they
Nice.
go in time with the rhythm.
Yeah, they sell them as like video game lights.
Sure.
But these long
I got a
rope
thing
lights.
like that. I got like a sheet of them that come
Yeah.
down in like lines and it can control it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be the one I got. I thought it was going to be better than it was. I was like, oh, is that? So now I'm just using it as a single light.
That's because you got it. That's because you got it on Temu.
Yeah, I don't have a very good one, but I know about your one is 10 times
Yeah,
better.
these ones are the Govee lights, which
Yeah,
are
cool.
just killer, and you can do. I mean, they're so easy to work with. Big
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
And so but the key was like we've been playing smaller venues, and so I wanted to have this contraption, but it needed to be like flexible, and nimble. So we have these like stilts, and then I put a thing on top, and so now I can really stretch them up to the roof and make it as custom to any stage. And then so now the idea is to play inside like a neon pyramid with
so
some
cool.
drums.
I love it.
And of course, if you might have noticed, we wear costumes when we perform.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have
You
the
dress as a
whole-
human, don't you? And
He's got the alien mask. I've got like the whole cloak that lights
Yeah.
up and
Yeah, we
covers
just wanted like
me
an
to look
immersive
more
experience,
mysterious.
Like we don't do a lot of talking to the crowd. It's just the show is on while the show is on.
Yeah.
Don't break the fourth wall.
entering a different world.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
the
awesome.
story is, because I don't think we even said this out loud, but the story is we are from outer space. Like, we came to planet Earth to help humanity
And you're on
find
the
harmony
rock
through
out.
the power of music,
Cool.
essentially. So
That's
I'm the
excellent.
space wizard, he's the alien with the unknown name, and like that's
Nice.
our mission here.
I kind of want to be a space wizard so bad.
He's not even mocking you. He's being serious. He wants to be a space wizard.
So bad. Yeah.
It's
100%.
a good life. I mean,
I believe it, man. Not only cool sci-fi stuff, but magic too. Just a lot, everything.
exactly.
You'd
Yeah.
be so
You get it
happy
all.
if you were a space wizard. I could
I
see
would.
you'd be
I would be-
ecstatic.
yeah, it's my goal, my life goal.
Your life goal.
So I'm very, very impressed by your space wizard aspirations. It's really awesome. So the 2 songs that you played, can you give us a little bit of a window into them?
Yeah, so the first song we did was called Devil's Backbone. And that one was inspired by a hike I did. It's this mountain called Mount Baldy or Mount San Antonio, right above LA.
Yeah.
And there's a very thin stretch of the hike where it's steep fall on either side, and it's called the Devil's Backbone.
Okay.
And so that was really, I was up there and I just started like singing and like
nice.
thinking about it. And then it turned into a full song.
Wicked.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I've never been walking in California. I've been to LA, but only to do shows and stuff. I've never got to get out of town and walk around. So that's definitely something on my list. That's for sure.
You originally from the West Coast, or?
No, but so I'm originally from Maryland.
Okay.
I lived in California for 7 years.
Okay.
And then moved here.
Well, did you live in LA?
No, I lived in Santa Cruz.
Gotcha.
So like Bay Area.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice one. Were you playing music when you were there?
I was, yeah. That's when I had started singing more seriously.
Yeah.
Actually, is I joined a band with a bunch of my friends called Supervision, and we were a like psychedelic jam band wannabe, aspiring type of group.
Cool.
And we had a lot of fun with it. We started with 8 members, 2 bass players, both who had never played bass before.
I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and none of us really sang, and so I was like, yeah, I can sing.
You have a very good voice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I started then and realized I needed to get a lot better at it.
Yeah.
So it's been
you got
it's been a
range
journey.
and also like hitting those high notes. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Dolly Mitchell around here. She's been my voice coach the last couple years.
Oh, nice.
Incredible singer. Like, absolutely.
I tell you what,
amazing.
that's great to hear. You actually are having lessons. Like that's that. There's not that many singers of bands around that are having lessons. That's impressive that you've taken it, seriously like that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys practice like your instruments these days, like individually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes on what we're trying to do, right? So like today, practicing on the buckets. But beyond that, we've been recording a couple songs, so it's been very militant, like 1 or 2 songs to the click track.
Okay.
And then, but typically before shows, I mean, we do a lot of live jamming and spontaneous, so it's a lot of just improv, and we just so it varies, but
Yeah, cool.
yeah, it keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah, I try and practice as much as I can, but I'm doing this one thing at the moment where I'm making some content about scales, and part of the reason why I did it is because that means I have to practice scales like mad, and it's like so I try and practice as much as I can, but I can't say it's every day, but I try and do it,
Yeah.
But
What about the second song?
what was the second song about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
second song.
Yeah, Don't Resist the Rhythm. That's one of the ones we're recording down the street at Palm Beach Sound Studios with Chuck, who's just awesome as well. So
Nice.
Yeah,
so that's just a
Shout
fun
out to
song.
Chuck.
That's come together. We've been playing it for about a year, I guess.
Yeah, that one was really inspired by the funk band I played in when I was in California called the Frogman Experience.
Nice.
And I actually dressed in a wizard costume for that.
Excellent.
It wasn't Space Wizard yet. I had to evolve.
But
the-
a slightly lesser wizard, a terrestrial wizard.
Exactly, yeah. But the frontman, my friend Frogman, he wore like a full frog mask. This is the band with the masks in that made it hard to
Gotcha.
sing.
Yeah.
And
Was
he
he a
was
frog
super
wizard?
funky bass player.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that band was super funky and groovy, and we had a couple songs that I was thinking of when writing this one. I was like, I want it to be like a positive, inspiring, like funky, upbeat song, basically.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's how it comes off. It's an absolute jam. We were bopping around by then.
Thanks. Yeah, can't wait to get a bass player. So that song in particular, I think, will
Yeah.
benefit a lot from it.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely. So is there anything that people know about what you guys have got coming up?
The most exciting thing that we've been vision boarding for well over a year. We've got a festival coming up.
Yeah.
You
May
may have
3rd,
heard of it.
West Palm Beach.
Whoop, whoop.
561 Music Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
561 Music Fest.
A lot
It's
of
gonna
good
be awesome.
bands.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys for putting this event on.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
it's gonna be cool.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's very
so-
exciting.
So that's where we're at. The next couple months, it's preparing for that, and then finishing these songs to have it out before then.
Nice.
But it's
Yeah.
this is a period of focus. So we've kind of cleared the board largely to make this really pop.
I tell you what, that's good to hear, and it's one of the reasons why things like this and doing things like this is good, is because it gives people markers, lines in the sand. It's like when there's stuff. It's the same with the podcast. Getting people on the podcast. It's like when you have something that you're getting ready for, it inspires you to work harder. And it inspires
Oh,
you,
yeah.
and it makes you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah.
That's real. You
Yeah.
know.
Unless you're me.
Andrew's always made a point to.
I just, I still don't do anything.
He's been very diligent about having something on the calendar for us, so it always kind of keeps us driving. But
Yeah,
but now May 3rd is where we're focused. And
Hell yeah!
can't
Well,
wait.
join the club, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's gonna be wild.
Yeah. This thing grew from this will be our fourth one now, and this grew from 800 people or so throughout the day at a local brewery and smaller stages, et cetera, to 5 times the budget that we had before. 2 way bigger stages. It's
congrats.
It's ridiculous.
It
just blew up this year,
guys. Please show up, because otherwise we're going to feel like real fools.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You.
You
I think
guys,
he was talking to us.
well, that would feel real foolish. We got an empty stage. Now, you guys brought, you guys shared some photos with us too of gear that you guys use, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's, Justin, if you could pull those up. So what do we got here?
Yeah, this is my pedal board.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the pedals you got.
I like to find the groove.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll start from the top right.
Yeah.
So I read this book by Victor Wooten a couple years ago.
Nice.
The Music Lesson. And it really changed a lot of how I think about music. He basically goes through 10 elements of music and how important they are and how to learn them or approach them.
Mm-hmm.
And like the first one is find the groove.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me. And so I put it on the pedal board. Every time I'm playing, I got to remember, okay, that's the first thing. Be in the pocket, with Johan, like make sure I'm on rhythm with him or whoever else is there. And then, this thing has like really been built up. It started as I literally had a cardboard box with like cutouts on the side. And I had like a distortion pedal and a wah pedal.
Yeah.
And that was it. But love those. Those have always been on the board. So the wah on the bottom right, that's the Steve Vai. Bad Horsey wah. I love him. One of my favorite guitarists. I play his signature model for my electric stuff. The one next to it with the 2 tubes sticking out, those are actually tubes.
Yeah, man.
It's called the Tube Zipper. My former drummer, Naka, gave it to me when I left California. And I love that thing. It's an envelope filter and distortion. And you can make some weird freaking sounds with it. Like all kinds of zips and woo and loops and things.
With like real analog flair because of the tubes. I guess.
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's wild.
Yeah, I love that. Still trying to figure it out, honestly. Like, there's so many settings.
That's half the fun.
Yeah, I just stick to like a couple that I know I'm good at, but there's so much to explore. And same with the one next to it, the Pog 2.
Yeah.
I love that pedal. It's an octave pedal plus a few other things. The first time I heard it, I actually bought that off my old guitar tech in California, and he played something through it for me, and I was like, oh my God. This is incredible. And eventually bought it off him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then moving on to the left, bottom left, M5. That's a multi-effects pedal.
Yeah.
Which I got recently, and I freaking love that thing.
I had the bigger one of those. The one that has like loads of knobs on it. Someone actually gave it to me.
Wow.
And there's loads of good stuff on there.
Yeah, there's so much.
I think that probably has all the same stuff, just in a smaller package, honestly.
Yeah, there's like the flangers, the choruses, the phasers, many kinds of delays and distortions.
Yeah.
Like weird sounds too. I've started doing a lot of like synth stuff off of that and like ring modulator to really, mess with people's ears.
Yeah, cool.
So I love it.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Then up from that, the loop station. It's just a looper, which I don't use much anymore now that we're in the band.
Yeah.
But fun for solo.
I've got like that generation as well. That's because that's a newer generation, isn't it? That's a relatively new one.
Yeah, and that's actually Johan's pedal.
I was gonna say my.
He just lends it to me, long-term loan.
Yeah, man. I love looping, but it's, like I was saying before, it's tough in the band, but it's really fun to do on your own.
It is, yeah.
You can build up these whole worlds of music. It's cool.
Yeah, I have so much respect for musicians like Keller Williams or Tosh Sultana or Xavier Rudd who can do like the one-person band thing.
Yeah,
I can't do that, but love those who can. And then, there's the delay pedal next to it, the carbon copy.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to find out if that's the same as my one that's bigger. I've got a lot of the same pedals as you, but like the big versions, and I want the small versions because then you can have more.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I actually bought like during a band reunion a couple years ago. This was out in California. I go out there every couple years and like reunite with my old band, Supervision, and we'll record all of our songs that we play.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need a delay pedal and just bought it, love it.
The MX, the feedback on those is just exactly what you want the feedback to be like on a delay. It just gets all like just super white noisy and cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah, and then the last one, the Palisades Earthquaker.
Yeah.
So I actually learned about that pedal when I was recording like my first solo song up at Raincat Recording Studio.
Yeah, it's a cool
Gentian
place.
Beats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian and Jeff, they're awesome. And they had that distortion pedal, and I played through it because I didn't have one that I really liked at the time.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and then eventually bought one.
What would you say that its characteristics are? Like, is it kind of like fuzzy, or is it more like kind of martially toned, kind of sharp edge to it sort of thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's very fuzzy, although
Right.
it does have a lot of different settings. You can see how many knobs are on that thing.
Because I'm not particularly a fuzzy distortion type of a guy, so maybe I'd like this one.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do really high gain stuff, which I want, but then also like a little less. And it has a boost too, which is nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hector always calls this my shopping hour.
100%. If there's anything there that he doesn't have, he will have by the time he gets home tonight. He'll be in the car, driving with one hand, shopping with the other.
Yeah, it's like tricky to find the balance sometimes because I always want to like explore new sounds and look into new pedals, but I also know there's so much exploration I can do just with what I have on my board right now.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
So-
Especially with this board you have, there's so much cool stuff you can do there. Between those bottom three across there, there's just so much cool stuff you can do. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, wicked. And then what other pictures do we have? Oh, here we go.
There's the drums, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
High tech.
That's my bucket.
So when did you join the Illuminati?
No, I discovered painter's tape, and I realized you could do all sorts of weird stuff with it.
Oh, there
and then
you
I
go.
discovered the real thin painter's tape that you can curve. And then that just kind of came out. And
Life changing, isn't
yeah,
it?
and I love Tool, and I went down the sacred geometry rabbit hole, and then the Illuminati called, and yada yada.
I do mural art, and when I discovered the tape that you can curve, it was life changing.
I didn't
don't
even
know
know
anything about
you
the
could
tape you
curve
can
tape
curve.
until this moment.
How does that work?
It's just so thin that you can just keep kind of bending it, and it doesn't get the
That's
creases.
how that eye's
Doesn't
made
get the
there.
creases that the big pieces get.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
And there's another bit of a drum.
Yeah, that's how I set them up. I tape it to my foot. It's pretty technical.
Nice.
That was an outdoor gig actually, and we were scared about the wind. So you just tape it, and that gives it a different sound than the other one.
Yeah.
It's nice playing with Andrew, who's very very specific about his sounds, and me, I just like to. I'll just bang on shit, and
Whackity
these
whack.
have become like pretty.
gotta love
These
that,
have been fun. I mean, it's like a little bit like I've got a djembe at home, like one of those traditional,
Yeah, sure.
hand drums, and that multiplied by the Blue Man Group kind of brought me to these buckets.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit more fun because like the djembe is a very specific sound, and it's like I think it's more fun for you to be out busking with those. I think it's a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I get why you do that rather than lug a djembe around with you for sure.
Now you use those when you're busking and stuff. When you guys are doing like a full live show somewhere, whatever 561 Music Festival, for example, whatever. Are you playing with this kind of stuff, or
Yes,
do you have
on May 3rd at the 561 Music Festival? Well, I'll be doing. I have a Pearl export kit, so I've got a full drum set. I play Pearl.
Yeah.
And that's what we usually do for the full shows. But for stripped down, the buckets are
Yeah, no, it works.
charming.
It works, man.
Absolutely.
I've seen people busking before with the buckets, and I've literally seen like a guy with just one bucket, and he's playing it, and he's like lifting it and dropping it, and it's crazy how many sounds you can get out of one stupid bucket.
Totally.
Yeah, and then you have the floor next to you, and you have the guy's chair, and then it's just like
His head.
I know that's the thing. There's me going out for my solo sets with 4,000 pedals and looping things and going nuts, and I could just bring a bucket.
Yeah, it's way easier to
then
run
you
from
need
the security
2 hands.
guards with just a couple buckets.
Yeah, totally, man. All right. Well, I have to say, It's been an absolute pleasure. You guys are a lot of fun. Thanks for
Likewise.
coming.
Likewise. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
This is cool.
Yeah, we're
All right, nice
looking
one.
forward to your set, man.
Yeah, totally. You got anything you want to say?
No, just remind the folks at home, 561 Music Fest or 561musicfestival.com. All your information for the 561 Music Festival brought to you by Steiner Green and Finer. And be on the lookout for some VIP information. We have a VIP section. James, our compadre from Killbillies, has his salon. And so he is very graciously sponsored the VIP area for us.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
James?
Yeah. So I believe that if it works out the way we're thinking it's going to work out, it's going to be an area that's going to be exclusive to if you're wearing a VIP wristband. And we're probably going to have, we're going to have the beer truck outside and stuff where everybody can get to it, but we're going to have another beer set up in there where you can get to it. And obviously, if you're VIP, you can get to it, and there won't be a big line to stand in or anything like that, much shorter line. Probably a discount on the beer at that point, too, just so you can get a little bit cheaper in there since you paid to be in there. There'll be some food available to you at no charge. There'll be
James
like
should
some
organize
snacks
so
and
you can
stuff.
get haircuts.
Yeah, and James has another booth that he's going to do something with.
Oh,
He's going to do
nice.
something similar, like some extensions and things like in the colors of 561 Music that people can get. But yeah, it should be good. There'll be some tents in there. You'll be able to get out of the sun a little bit. There'll be some tables. You can relax. There'll be food and drink. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a good experience. And I'm even thinking potentially once we get all the details tomorrow and we work it out, that I think we're probably going to do we're definitely doing a 561 Music Festival shirt. But I think we're going to do a slightly different custom, special shirt just for the VIP area. So that if you buy the VIP ticket, you'll get a special shirt that no one else will have kind of thing.
Great.
Only the VIPs will have it.
Yeah, I was thinking about making some hats too, some 561 Music, maybe some 561 Music podcast hats.
Well, we will have some 561 Music hats at the event.
Really?
Yeah. Our friends at the Shirt Series are hooking us up.
That's right.
They're hooking us up with koozies, hats, tank tops, T-shirts, and stickers
That's so
or something
awesome.
like that. Yeah, so there'll be plenty of merch to purchase with
Hell
561 Music on it. And the VIP tickets will be affordable. They'll only be $25,000 a piece. But no, I don't know what the price will be, but it will be affordable. We've been priding ourselves. The last 3 festivals, regular tickets have just been $10. This year, the event is free, so obviously we're not going to gouge you on the VIP tickets. But we wanted to have something that was a little bit more of an experience for those that still want something a little bit more.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
Well, I guess that's it from us, and see you next week, and hopefully see you at the festival. And thank you very much. Peace out.
You got it.
Take a fantasy, it's what we're doing.